This is a bit of a part 2 for the Japanese police pistol. Someone commented on the other video asking why was I selling. I guess they noticed that the Japanese police pistol used in that video was for sale on Gunbroker, and I understand it was purchased, and congratulations to the buyer. Enjoy it. It's a great gun. But the reason I sold is not because I'd given up on the platform, but rather because I had a bit of an upgrade here. So this is another Japanese police pistol. Similar to the other one, comes with the P230 manual with the blue border. The insert showing how to operate the manual safety and the spec sheet. And finally, the test target. Okay. So all of the complete kits that I've seen have all that paperwork with them. Also comes with a lock, and here's the gun. In this case, the extra magazine actually came in the original oil. It has not been used. This pistol has already been safety checked. It is in absolute, positively flawless condition. So the other one had a few handling marks. This one, nothing. This one was a true safe queen. So I did not feel bad about holding on to this one and sharing the other one with someone else. I'll do a little close-up on some of the controls that may have been hard to see in the other video. So here's the manual safety, and you can see a little cutout here on the slide, and when the manual safety is engaged, it goes up into the slide. That's how it locks the slide. The lock for the trigger and for the hammer is all internal. So let's look at a few of the markings here. Okay, so see if I can get these in here. Okay, so SIG Incorporated, Exeter, New Hampshire, 7.65 millimeter Browning, and then you can see there at the top there's a date code. It says KH, which stands for 97 for the proof. Then there's the eagle over end definitive proof mark, and then that squashed bug look proof mark thing above it is for the Kiel, K-I-E-L, proof house, which is the closest proof house in Germany to the manufacturing site for SIG. So that's what you'd expect. Of course, there's a little, I'll give a close-up on the lanyard there. Okay. And of course, made in Germany after the reunification. So one thing that made me feel okay about selling the other one was I didn't really need a parts gun anymore, because I found a parts kit. And amazingly, it's actually a parts kit for a Japanese police pistol. And I know that because one thing, it includes the manual safety in here. Also, the slide that came with it has the cut for the manual safety. Of course, the serial number, all the other markings all add up. One interesting thing is just that the parts themselves look perfect. The inside of the slide looks like it's barely been fired, but the outside of the slide is pretty darn rough. The other thing interesting was what it came with. It didn't come with the original grips or the lanyard loop. However, it did come with this grip, which is a Hogue wraparound clamshell finger groove grip. The person who owned this before cut this so that the manual safety could work, but they did not make any cutout here for the lanyard loop. So and the other thing that's interesting is that the date code in here is for March of 1997. So I think, my suspicion is that somebody bought one of these in 97 when they came into the country, probably took the grips off, threw them away, took the lanyard loop off, dropped that, and then basically used it as maybe their carry pistol for a while, and eventually just wore out the frame and sold it as a parts kit. That's all I can assume. But the great thing is that the parts look just flawless, so if anything ever goes wrong internally, I've got these as a backup. Now the other thing that's really cool, and I think you guys might really enjoy seeing, is this. So this is another little treasure I picked up recently. So there was an estate sale, Bob of the Desert, if you've seen his site on, or his platform on Gunbroker, he was selling a bunch of really incredible German pistols that came out of some sort of estate sale. And I picked this one up there. So this is a SIG P230 32 ACP pistol. However, this is considerably older than the Japanese pistol. As a matter of fact, the date code on the Japanese pistol, KH, which is for 97, which was the absolute last run of the P230 in 32 ACP. The date code on this one is HG, which stands for 76, which is pretty weird because all the resources I've ever seen show that the P230 began production in 77. So I don't know if this was just a pre-production prototype. I don't know. All I know is that this one was the very first P230 32 ACP maybe ever made, or really first in the run. And then, of course, the Japanese one is the last. And so it's kind of cool because you can compare and contrast and see how things evolved, over the decades. Some of the differences, let's see. So the decocker has no shelf. It's serrated, but it's flat. So you have to kind of grab the top to kind of bring it down. Whereas on the Japanese pistol, there is a bit of there are serrations, but there's a little shelf that you can grab with your finger. Okay. Of course, there's no manual safety. There's no lanyard loop. There's no notch for the manual safety, of course. The frame did change. You can see this, the pivot pin for the trigger. You can see it's basically flush with the bottom of the frame right there. Whereas on the Japanese pistol, there's a little bit more meat on the slide. You can see there's about 1 millimeter of extra material there. So they did seem to beef up the slide a little bit. Another obvious change is the the serrations here. So the original serrations were many fine serrations. You just run your finger across, just feels, there's texture, but it's fairly smooth, as opposed to the Japanese pistol, where there were much coarser serrations, which give you a little bit better grab on it. I don't own a P232, but it's interesting because when you look at the picture on the manual, you can see that I guess the evolution was towards even widening serrations, as you can see on there. And it looks like the P232 also has the decocker with the shelf. Now, as far as markings on this one, on this side it just says Sig Sauer and then the caliber. On this side, let's see if I can get this in there. So there's made in West Germany, which of course means before 1989, and then P230. So just interesting to have, a pistol from 1976 against the evolution, I guess the last evolution of it in 97. So again, pretty cool to kind of have this sort of spectrum on these pieces. Hope you enjoyed seeing the video. I have not shot the the vintage P230 yet. Not sure if I'm going to. May just keep this one the way it is. Oh, one other thing. Oh, I should point out these grips. The grips are not what came with it. The grips that actually came on it were these plastic grips, very similar to actually the grips on the Japanese, except for the lack of the lanyard loop and the cutout for the safety. These Millwood grips, I bought these new and put them on. Had to do a little bit of fitting. I just think they look amazing, so just going to keep those on there for now. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck in your search for Japanese and non-Japanese P230 32 ACPs. All right, good luck.